You are listening to part 1 of episode 37 of the Psychotherapist Podcast. I am your host, Malcolm Clancy, and I will be on the couch today with my co-host, my psychotherapist, Dr. Sir Bobbert, also known as Bobbus Invictus. In this opening part of the episode, we discuss Tibetan singing bowl, orchestras. I showcase some artwork of some sketches that I've started working on, resembling this in different patterns. If you're watching along on the YouTube or Rumbles, you can see what we're talking about. We break down the differences between dopamine and serotonin and which one is objectively better. And we wrap up this part with a discussion about the mysterious rapturing of the cattle. Is it China? Is it the UFOs? Is it the psychotherapists? We'll find out on this episode of the Psychotherapist Podcast. Thank you for listening. God bless.
Casey wants to use the bowl. Do I have a bowl there? Because the better bowl I have at home. I wanted to talk to you about your little project there too.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I can always edit it in because I have an official soundbite now. So I can just shoehorn it in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So that's no worries.
Okay.
And, yeah, I've always wanted to draw a singing bowl for a while.
Really?
Yeah, because I just think it's I think it's the perfect combination of, like, simple but artistic. That I could do it, like the thing I sent you last night.
That was great. Was that from memory?
No, that was like 15 minutes. I just looked at a picture, and that was actually technically a second sketch because I messed up the dimensions or whatever, but just practice a bunch of them and they'll come out fine. And once I actually use rulers and tools to actually get the measurements down correctly, it'll probably look pretty good. And I want like flowers or something sprouting out of it, and I was thinking maybe the bowl could be like the back of a turtle or something.
Okay, you can look, if you look them up online, I'll send you a website where they sell the bowls and stuff, but if you look them up online, you get some ideas. I mean, they're kind of like mandalas. There's,
exactly.
Such a free-flowing kind of thing. The designs are almost, infinite?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
No, exactly. And I was thinking even like the way I imagined it in my mind was like I'd have 3 of them like all side by side but with different patterns and color schemes. Like maybe the same exact shape or whatever, but all different.
Okay.
Just make it really colorful. And I want to do things where in the future when I draw these things I can usually sketch an outline on the next page because it's imprinted on the next page, so I can use that to just make a sketch, copy that, and I basically have like a template to make as many different copies or designs as possible, as opposed to just kind of working on one thing, putting hours into it, realizing halfway, I think I could have done this better, but I'm not going to erase the whole thing now.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk about this within the podcast?
I mean, we're rolling right now.
We're rolling right now, okay.
We've been rolling for 2.5 minutes, so welcome everyone to the podcast.
Welcome everyone. I did not know we were on mic, so let me officially say good morning.
That was an aggressive one.
An aggressive one?
I think you hit it a little too hard.
This is a smaller one than the one I'm used to working with, so I haven't used this one in a little while. Let's try it again. Does that hit the tone?
My pineal gland just expanded, so I think we're ready to go. That was perfect.
What you just heard was a Tibetan singing bowl. And my partner here, Malcolm, he can tell you about it, drawn some designs of singing bowls. And my comment to him was about to be that he should go online and look at some of the performances that people do singing bowls. Because there are some great Indian musicians who use singing bowls of different shapes and sizes. Mm-hmm. Well, it's basically the same shape and size, but though the size is shaped the same, sizes are different. And some use a thick pad underneath, some use a thinner pad, and they really conduct like an orchestra, so like they're playing drums or something.
I was about to say, it sounds like a huge percussion kind of like thing you could pull off, which sounds pretty sick.
It's great.
Is it only singing bowls, or do they throw in other stuff?
Well, some of them have other things as well.
Okay. Do they have any cowbell?
I don't
know if I can listen.
I don't think they have cowbell.
Oh, that's okay. I'll do some audio engineering later and make my own.
But if you listen to people who use a lot of percussion, a lot of percussion, like some of the Latin musicians, you're apt to hear anything.
Nice.
Because they don't usually restrict themselves to just, congas and timbales and things. They use a lot of different stuff. This is more of the Indian variety. So when you hear these, there's generally only, if there's a musician playing, there's generally only, and I don't know what they call them, their version of like a violin or cello, someone playing that, and possibly somebody playing a soft drum.
Nice.
Check it out though, online.
Yeah, man. And just one last question on these before we move on. Do you know what any of these symbols or patterns represent? Because
no, I don't.
The one I modeled off, there's like some kind of character in the middle, and it looks cool, so I'm drawing it, but I have no idea what it means. So it'd be really funny if someone like from Tibet just walked up and was like, "Oh, that means dickhead, right?"
Exactly.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But so you said you had something on the agenda for today, just one item?
Well, I wanted to talk. Well, I already talked to you about the one item that we did off the thing that was about.
Cool.
Asking you to do a mini evaluation thing here, and we've done that. And I wanted to just expand on your Tibetan bowl and what how you saw that as coming into your life. I mean, is it as an artistic expression?
So, I would say last night I was like, do I really need to play a third hour of video games? So I was just kind of getting bored with that, and I just feel at this like awesome stage in my life with the trial behind me and the LSAT behind me and everything. Like I want to just like conduct orchestras basically. Like I want to pick up my guitar again, I want to draw again, I want to write. Like I actually want to like do things and just kind of enjoy not being up to my eyeballs in law stuff. Because Lord knows, knock on wood, I will be soon enough, so
yep.
We shall see.
This is an incredible, I wouldn't know if I want to use the word breakthrough, but something happened in your brain where you shifted from, actually acknowledged that maybe playing video games was not the best use of your talents and abilities.
Yeah.
And that maybe doing something else would be worthwhile, and you might actually get, maybe not get as much of a dopamine jump from it as you would from playing video games, but you're going to get some. And yeah,
I don't know, I feel like I could get more dopamine. Well, what's the other one? The serotonin,
yeah.
Because I was listening to what's his name, Lex Fridman, the Russian guy, the robotics guy. It's Lex Fridman. He was speaking with Jordan Peterson, and Jordan was talking about how he wants art all around his house or whatever, and it's like, how do you even like define what makes it art? Is that like it's just something every single time you look at it doesn't feel the same, it doesn't feel like old, you can notice a different detail. And just having those drawings that I've done in the past in my room, just like being able to walk past that, because just the way I see it, with the drawing, I would like ideally to give them as like gifts, which would be cool. That's why I think a singing bowl might be a good like template or whatever, just to do whatever. I kind of lost my train of thought on where I was going with that.
Well, I was talking about the shift that occurred in your brain.
Right.
That sort of shifted you from doing something, it's fast and quick like the video games, but doesn't have long-lasting pleasure, really. I mean, you're done with it, and then over to something very creative, where you're tapping into that part of your brain, and you will get satisfaction from doing that once you do it more often and you gain confidence in what you're doing and explore options.
Right.
Peterson would be a great one to look into some of this stuff, because he's studied signs and symbols and all that stuff. He would have some interesting things.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I remember what I was going to, the thought I lost a moment ago is that, well, I guess two things. One, I was listening to that same interview last night, and, JP was talking about how from very early on, some mechanical thing in his sort of mind and Damon and whatever was that, like, there's just time's wasting, let's go. And I'm, like, kind of the opposite, you know what I mean? I'm like, I can finish that book when I'm 80. I don't give a shit as long as it's fucking finished.
Yep.
Or whatever. But the other thing that came to my mind was that, like, as I'm drawing, it's just as far as something, being able to share. Like, with video games, unless someone's there playing it with you, or unless you, like, record clips or something, no one's gonna know or give the slightest fuck. But you can share your art with, like, anyone. And, like, just even, like, if you're meeting a stranger and you don't know what to talk about, hey man, want to see some shit I drew or whatever, so it's just has a lot more social value too.
Yeah, a tremendous amount of social value.
Yeah, and I always thought it'd be cool to have, like, like I said, drawings to give to gifts as friends, because I'm awful at gift giving, and I think I should improve on that a little.
Do you think your competence level is there yet, where you could feel competent and confident in giving your work out to people?
I mean, if we're just talking about friends, sure, I really don't care, as long as it, like, kind of looks cool or colorful or whatever. But I mean, I have zero intentions of actually trying to, like, I don't know, sell shit to museums or what the fuck ever, I mean, considering that some museums you walk in and it's, like, literally just a white canvas and someone just took, like, a really wet paintbrush and just did one flick and splat and was like, I'm done. Maybe, I don't know.
When I buy these things, I'll text you the name of the catalog I use. It's basically, Hindu, Indian based. It's mindfulness stuff, meditation stuff. But they have products that they sell, and they put out a product catalog you can request. Mm-hmm. And they sell a lot of this stuff. And this is this one here is bland in the sense that it's two colors. It's gold and black.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, where the one that I use at home is very bright. It just jumps out at you. It's like a bright crimson and orange and all kinds of things like that.
That's kind of why I wanted to make copies to do different color schemes, because I like the black and gold. I think it works really well, and also I kind of just, I don't know, there's just different levels of sort of simplicity that work to it, but I also want to just try to see if I can make, like, a tie-dye fucking singing bowl or some crazy shit like that. So
yeah, let's go back to 1967.
Yeah, man, put acid in everyone's coffee.
T-shirts and get some paints and stuff about into the backyard and make some tie-dyes.
Absolutely, bro, I'm down.
Have you ever made one?
Maybe when I was a little kid. I made a tie-dye shirt, maybe. I don't know, but not anytime recently.
In college, especially in my early years of college, it was a great social event. I mean, when people got together just to sort of party and hang out, mm-hmm. and, make T-shirts, it was a lot of fun.
That is a lot of fun. Were there a lot of penises drawn on T-shirts?
Yeah, there were a lot of different things. Mostly, for the most part, though, people were doing, the more sort of mystical, psychedelic stuff. So there were a lot of bright sun splashes, things like that.
Like fucking angel wings on the back and rainbow-colored shit.
There were two or three ways to do it. The one I could do the best, because it was simple for me, is you could take the T-shirt up and you just grab a piece of it and sort of,
ring it
up, and you wrap a rubber band around that part of it, the T-shirt, mm-hmm. and then you dip it in the paint for a certain amount of time, mm-hmm. and then you take it out, and that's how you begin the tie-dye, and you just use your artistic discretion to do the rest of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get rid of cell phones and shit, because I feel like it's that kind of shit that's just gone in the post, like, iPhone era, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like the old days, but as far as agenda items, I looked a little bit at the cow evisceration thing, which is creepy, but I mean, I only spent like 15 minutes basically reading before this morning. As far as the other agenda items, I don't really...
What did say that again? What did you mention?
The thing you mentioned to me last night, that they're finding cattle and livestock
Right.
with all the organs taken out, totally bloodless. Could be the aliens. It's probably the Chinese. Tucker Carlson's. I saw the trailer for his thing, so that'll be interesting.
Well, it was interesting.
Yeah, because when I did, the little research that I did, there's official FBI documents you can find online from the 70s talking about, that's when it kind of became a big issue in the Midwest, and people were, starting to say, what the hell is going on here? And the FBI, I guess, didn't originally have jurisdiction, but then they had to, look into it. And I didn't get to read, really any of these documents, but just scrolling through, I saw, newspaper headlines and stuff that, looked like shit, from fucking today, that they would love, UFOs, possibly, and crazy stuff. So, I'll do a little more research into that, because I am genuinely curious whether it's the aliens, whether they're just trying to destroy all the food supply, whatever's going on. It's not coyotes.
No, because they're not destroying the carcasses. They're not eating.
Oh yeah,
the carcasses.
I the trailer I saw mentioned that, where they're not decaying, and there's the scavengers aren't bothering with it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could do all kinds of crazy experiments on cattle. It's not like they're gonna testify.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So who knows? Also,
I don't know if Peter would object, but yeah.
Fuck PETA.
Right.
Also, I saw just a random article. It looks like someone may have just stolen someone's cattle, but with food prices and beef going up and stuff, maybe that would be the next train robberies. Just be cattle poaching.
Yep, cattle poaching.
Yeah. So
Modern day cattle poaching.
modern day cowboys.
But this some interesting time, the 70s, for that sort of thing. That's when a lot of the phenomenon, on aliens and stuff, started to become of interest. A lot of it happened in that part of the country, and that's when people started developing these conspiracy theories around the Lyme ticks.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the facilities they built to study it was out in Utah, and there was one in more Midwest, and then another one closer in Washington. It was in Virginia. But there were a lot of people were interested in a lot of stuff that was going on then, and they were delving into it, and then it sort of fell by the wayside as other things came around.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of that weird. It is the sort of perfect story that will never really stay at a foreground for very long, unless there's literally a rapture of the cows.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
I always think that we follow what the Russians were doing at the time. So they were interested. That of course that was the space race during that time too.
yeah.
The Russians are doing this. They're finding stuff going on, and we better look into this. They're loading up bugs. They're juicing up bugs that are carrying diseases
Yeah.
that they're going to use for destruction of humanity, or at least destruction of Americans.
Right.
So we're going to put some time and research into this.
Yeah, man. It's just wild stuff, but who knows? Man, do you think the moon landing was real?
The moon landing?
Yeah.
I did, and now I'm not so sure.
What cast doubt in your mind?